Hello guys, season two. I'm very, very excited. I've had some really good ideas just come to me over the last few months, and I've been writing them down and working on them and putting them into practice of things I know. And now that I've got them concisely, I want to bring them to you. And the season's theme is that you are the difference. And I honestly believe that no matter what challenges you are facing in life, no matter it could be your day, your week, it could be your job, your relationship, a goal you're trying to achieve, you are always the biggest difference in its outcome. So if you're facing something terrible in your life, in order to turn it into something wonderful, you're always going to make the biggest difference. But how do we get there? And that's what I want to share with you in this season. The ideas that I know have worked for me, my truths, what's worked for me in my life, I'll share with you. And if some of it's value to you, great, take it, it's yours. And if it's not, you can just discard it anyway. So the first episode in this is going to be about the question. And this has come from something that's happened to me recently. A guy was talking to me about a relationship with his wife. And he basically said that he wasn't happy and he just didn't feel like it was right. And so I just started asking some questions about what's going on. And I sort of asked him first, well, how do you know that there's a problem? And he just sort of said, well, I don't have any adventure or fun or anything like this. And I said, okay, well, what do you want instead? And then he thought about that for a minute, but he couldn't really give me a concise answer. I said, well, think about it this way. Take your relationship as you feel and you see it and put it into a one concise statement. What would that be? And he thought about it for a minute and then he said, oh, well, we get through it day to day. And I thought, that's a bit strange. So I said to him, get through it. So when you get to the end of your life, do you want to be able to turn around and say, I got through that? And of course he said, no, absolutely not. No one wants to say that about their life. So I said, right, we need to make a compelling vision so that you've got something to live by day to day that excites you. What excites you? And I just asked him questions. I didn't tell him anything. And he's like, well, I'd rather have more fulfillment in my life. Well, what does fulfillment mean to you? And he started telling me the different things that give him a feeling of fulfillment. And I said, what else do you want? I want to have some fun. Well, what's fun to you? He started telling me things about making fun. I said, what else do you want to do? He said, I want to make a difference. Well, what are the things that will let you know you're making the biggest difference? And we went through them. And so I said, at the end of your life, wouldn't you rather say, I had fun, I had a life of meaning, and I made a difference? And many of us haven't thought about that end statement in order to bring it to something now. And so we live life with this end statement that we may have not decided on, and we're living it today. We need to create a vision of the future, but then come back to today and live it. And so what happened was when I was talking to him, I didn't tell him anything. I just asked him questions. And as I was asking him questions, he was coming up with the answers. And as he came up with the answers himself, he was becoming more excited and more inspired. And by the end, he was excited about living today. I was like, yeah, I can do this and have more fun, and this to be compelled, and this would. And he went on with a list. And so the thing I want to ask you guys, or tell you guys, is that you you control the questions. And the questions are going to make the biggest difference. See, this guy in his life, what changed? Like, he didn't change. His circumstances didn't change. His wife didn't change. The relationship didn't change. The situation didn't change. The only thing that changed, so 5 minutes ago, he was depressed about a situation, and now he was excited, were the questions that he was asking himself. And we all have bad questions we can ask, like, why is life so hard? Or why are there so many shit people in the world? Like, these are terrible questions that are going to put you in a really bad frame of mind. But you could ask yourself a question like, how could I live my life to make a difference and have fun doing it? Isn't that a great question? And as soon as you pose that question to your mind, you're going to come up with an answer of equal quality to the questions that you're asking yourself. And then finally, before I go, guys, I just want to say this, that the biggest penny drop moment that this guy had was as he realized, I told him, because at the end of it, he said, oh, thank you so much. I said, don't thank me. I haven't done anything. I've asked you questions. You came up with all the answers yourself. That means that all the answers to your current problem were already inside you. They just needed to come out with the right questioning. So what I want to pose to you guys is, what question could you ask yourself that you already have the answer to inside you? What's the one question you could ask yourself today that would change it all? And find that question, because when you find that question, you will come up with the answer because you have it in you already. And the most beautiful thing about this whole thing is, as he realized that he came up with all of this, he kind of looked at me and went, like in a sort of joking way, he's like, I didn't need you. And I said, that's right. You didn't need me. You've got you. And you never did need me. So what I want to leave you guys with two things. One, yes, an idea. Okay? An idea that you ask yourself the question and you can change your life because you're going to come up with an answer in alignment with that question. So all you need now is you've got a tool, and the second thing you need is some faith that you can do it. And you can, because you're more powerful than you even know. Okay, there are gifts and talents within you that you haven't even reached for yet. So start with this question, and I'll see you in episode 2.